Level 1, White Belt, Survival Mode. Time to roll equals time to lose. Sound familiar? At White Belt, survival is the only mission. You'll tap a lot. Arms crushed, ribs bruised, legs tangled like pretzels. Panic kicks in fast. Every roll feels like drowning, but that's exactly where growth begins. Here's the truth, at White Belt, winning doesn't matter. Lasting 30 seconds without tapping? That's a win. Escaping mount even once? Huge win. Learning to breathe under pressure? The biggest win of all. This stage is about humility. Your mistakes teach you more than any victory could. Defense becomes your shield, patience becomes your weapon. The mat is brutal, but every mistake is a lesson carved into muscle memory. Over time, you realize that tapping isn't failure, it's progress. The faster you accept this, the faster you grow. White Belt isn't about domination. It's about building the mental toughness to keep showing up. Every bruise is a badge. Every roll is survival training. Level 2, Blue Belt, Escape Artist and Identity Crisis. Survived White Belt? Congrats, you've unlocked chaos. Welcome to Blue Belt. Here, your defense sharpens. You escape faster, survive longer, and know enough to feel confident. But progress slows down like quicksand. One day you're unstoppable. The next, you're questioning if you'll ever improve. This is where the identity crisis begins. Are you a survivor? A guard player? A submission hunter? At Blue Belt, you experiment with everything, but mastery feels far away. And let's be real, Blue Belt is infamous. Some people stay here for years. Some sandbag, some quit. But those who stick it out discover something powerful. Their game begins to take shape. You start spotting weaknesses in others. You try bold attacks. Sometimes they work, most times they don't. But that's the process. Blue Belt is the belt of doubt and discovery. Your cardio feels tested. Your confidence is unstable. But every escape, every failed submission, every long roll teaches you exactly who you are becoming on the mat. Level 3, Purple Belt, Creativity and Flow. Escapes mastered? Welcome to the fun zone. Purple Belt is where Jiu Jitsu turns into art. Suddenly, techniques connect like puzzle pieces. You chain submissions together, armbar to triangle to omoplata, smooth as water. Rolling stops feeling like panic, it feels like conversation. This is the belt where confidence grows. You've paid your dues, you've survived the storm. Now you create. Your game becomes personal, unique, creative. You even start teaching lower belts, sharing insights, explaining tiny details you didn't even realize you knew. Mistakes still happen, but you adapt instantly. Your timing sharpens. Your flow becomes instinct. Rolling at Purple Belt feels like playing jazz, improvised, expressive, unpredictable. Every move feels lighter. You begin to anticipate your opponent instead of reacting. Strategy turns into instinct. This is where Jiu Jitsu becomes fun again, where the art reveals itself in its purest form. Level 4, Brown Belt, Precision and Leadership. Purple Belt Flow? Mastered. Now it's about sharpening everything into a blade. At Brown Belt, the smallest details matter. Hand placement. Weight distribution. Timing down to the millisecond. Rolling feels less chaotic, more calculated. Mistakes? Rare, but expensive. This stage isn't just about your game anymore, it's about the room. Lower belts look up to you. You're seen as a leader, even if you don't feel ready. You mentor, guide, teach. And guess what? Teaching forces you to refine your own skills even more. Brown belts also feel pressure. You're almost black belt, and everyone knows it. Expectations are high. But this is where patience becomes your superpower. You think multiple moves ahead. You learn to win without strength, just pure timing and precision. Every roll feels like chess at this level. You start predicting your opponent's game before it even unfolds. Precision is your identity. Leadership becomes your responsibility. Level 5, Black Belt, Calm Mastery. The belt everyone dreams of, black. But here's the twist, it's not the end. It's the beginning of mastery. Rolling with a black belt feels strange. It's not violent, not exhausting. It's smooth, calm, controlled. They're 3 steps ahead, yet make you feel like you're moving freely. At Black Belt, you don't just roll, you teach, mentor, inspire. Your presence on the mat changes the room. People watch how you tie your belt, how you breathe, how you move. You are an example whether you want to be or not. And mastery doesn't mean you stop learning. Black belts keep evolving, keep refining. Humility grows deeper. You realize the true art is in the simplicity. At this stage, you discover a truth: mastery is not about dominating others, it's about controlling yourself. Calmness, patience, and wisdom are your real weapons. Level 6, Coral Belt, the Legacy Builders. The Coral Belt, red/black 7th degree, red/white 8th degree. This stage is beyond competition, it's about building legacy. Here, decades of training transform into wisdom. You're not chasing medals, you're shaping generations. Every class, every seminar, every story leaves a mark on the culture of Jiu Jitsu. Rolling at this stage is different. It's not about domination. It's about guidance. Your techniques carry history. Your advice shapes futures. Students become teachers, and your influence multiplies. The Coral Belt stage is about giving back, passing down knowledge, protecting the art, making sure the next generation carries it forward with respect and passion. This is where you realize the greatest victories aren't on the mats, they live in your students, in the culture you've built, and in the knowledge that will outlast you. Level 7, Red Belt, Immortality Stage. The rarest of the rare, the Red Belt, 9th and 10th degree. Few ever reach it. This is the Immortality Stage. At Red Belt, Jiu Jitsu is no longer about personal progress, it's about preserving the art itself. These are the masters who've dedicated lifetimes. Their influence shapes entire generations. When a Red Belt speaks, the room goes silent. Every lesson carries history. Every movement is tradition kept alive. They don't just practice the art, they are the art. Red Belts aren't chasing victory, they're chasing legacy. Their gift is ensuring Jiu Jitsu will outlive them, stronger than ever. This level is about becoming part of the history of the art. Your name is written into its story. You no longer represent yourself, you represent the essence of Jiu Jitsu itself. Your journey. From white belt panic, to black belt calm, to red belt immortality. 7 levels. 7 lessons. 7 evolutions. Every bruise, every tap, every roll shapes who you are. Don't rush the journey. Every level matters. Remember, step by step, tap by tap, this is the real Jiu Jitsu journey.
One wrong grip can snap your arm. One tiny mistake can cut off your air in seconds. That's the brutal truth of Jiu Jitsu submissions. This isn't just fighting, it's human chess with real consequences. Every move has history, mechanics, and the power to end a fight instantly. Today, we're breaking down the most iconic submissions in Jiu Jitsu. Arm bars, chokes, leg locks, shoulder cranks, and submission chains. All explained in simple steps you can understand in just one video. We'll cover why fighters tap, how each submission works, and what makes them so terrifying inside both Jiu-Jitsu mats and the UFC octagon. And here's something to think about. What's the one submission that catches you the most? Is it the armbar that feels inescapable? The guillotine that punishes every bad takedown? Or maybe the rear naked choke that makes breathing vanish in seconds? Drop it in the comments. I want to know where you struggle. Let's dive in and start with the move that every white belt fears, the armbar. The armbar, the first submission most people learn and the one they never stop respecting. Mechanics. Control the arm, pin the wrist, swing your hips up, lock the legs around the shoulder, extend the hips. Suddenly, the elbow is bending the wrong way. It's simple, but brutal, and that's why it works from day one to the world stage. Emotion. Every white belt taps to it. You think you're safe because you've tucked your arm, but in an instant, the grip slips. The hips explode upward, and the pressure on the joint is unbearable. The fear isn't just pain, it's knowing a second too late can mean torn ligaments or a snapped elbow. Famous examples, Frank Mir versus Tim Sylvia at UFC 48. Sylvia's arm snapped under Mir's grip and the sound echoed around the arena. Ronda Rousey. She built her UFC career finishing nearly every opponent with lightning-fast arm bars, proving it works at the highest level. At the gym, everyone learns two things from the arm bar. Always protect your arms and never underestimate basics. Engagement. Q. Have you ever been caught in an armbar during training? Did you feel the elbow stretching before the tap? Cliffhanger. If locking an arm feels terrifying, imagine being strangled by someone's legs. Welcome to the triangle choke. The triangle choke, where your legs become a trap. Mechanics. Break the opponent's posture. Shoot your legs up around their shoulders. Trap one arm inside, the other out. Adjust the angle. Lock your shin behind your knee. Squeeze. Their own body cuts off the blood flow to the brain. Emotion. Panic comes quick. Breathing gets harder. The head feels like it's in a vice. Even strong fighters feel helpless, flailing, while energy drains with every passing second. Famous moments: Anderson Silva versus Chael Sonnen. Sonnen dominated for 4 rounds, but one late triangle from Silva flipped the fight and shocked the world at UFC 117. Or Nate Diaz, a fighter who's finished plenty of opponents with slick triangles in MMA. Jim Truth, the triangle is the equalizer. Even smaller grapplers can finish bigger, stronger opponents if they know how to set it up. Cliffhanger. But triangles are a guard choke. What happens when you attack the neck from the front? That's where the guillotine takes over.
Guillotine, a front choke that punishes sloppy takedowns. Mechanics, opponent shoots in. You loop your arm around their neck. Grip tight. Arch your back. Hips push up. Chest squeezes down. Suddenly their airway vanishes. Emotion, you're the fighter shooting for a double leg, but in a split second, your neck is caught. Vision tunnels. Pressure builds. Tap or nap. Famous examples: Nate Diaz has shown it countless times in sparring and competition. Cody McKenzie was even nicknamed the Guillotine King in the UFC because of how often he used it. And Khabib Nurmagomedov? He escaped one of Dustin Poirier's deepest guillotines, showing how close this submission comes to ending fights. At the gym, it's a reality check for every wrestler who thinks they can shoot recklessly. The guillotine is the ultimate you messed up punishment. Engagement question: ever felt your neck crushed in a guillotine? Did you panic or stay calm? Cliffhanger, but guillotines choke. Kimura's rip joints apart. The Kimura, a shoulder lock of nightmares. Mechanics, control the wrist. Reach over their arm. Grab your own wrist. Twist the shoulder behind their back. Torque builds fast, joints don't bend that way. Emotion, being caught in a Kimura is like being handcuffed to pain. The arm is pinned, mobility gone, and the burning sensation in the shoulder grows until tapping is the only option. Famous users: Kazushi Sakuraba, the legendary Gracie hunter, used Kimuras to beat members of the Gracie family, proving technique could overcome reputation. Roger Gracie, one of the greatest ever, also used it to dominate. In MMA, it's one of the few submissions that doubles as both control and finish. Fighters use Kimuras not just to submit, but to sweep and reverse positions. Engagement question: do you think Kimuras are scarier in GI or no GI? Cliffhanger, but if Kimura is feared, the true king of submissions is still coming: the rear naked choke. The rear naked choke. The king of Jiu Jitsu submissions. Mechanics: take the back. Lock your hooks. Use a seatbelt grip. Slide the arm under the chin. Grab your bicep. Hand behind the head. Squeeze. It's over. Emotion: no arms left to fight. No legs to kick. Just pressure on the neck. Blood flow stops. In seconds, consciousness fades. Fighters describe it like drowning on dry land. Famous users: Damian Maia built his career on taking backs and finishing with RNCs. Charles Oliveira, the UFC's all-time submission leader, used it repeatedly, making it his signature weapon. Gym reality: every roll ends up here. Beginners and black belts alike know, once the back is taken, survival is slim. Engagement question: who's your favorite fighter with the best rear naked choke finishes? Oliveira? Maia? Maybe even Islam Makhachev? Cliffhanger, but while chokes dominate, sometimes it's the simplest joint locks like the Americana that teach control. The Americana, simple, old school, but still effective. Mechanics: pin the wrist to the mat. Slide your arm under their elbow. Push the forearm toward the head. Shoulder screams. Emotion: it's often the first submission you land as a beginner. That thrill of control sticks with you forever. Famous examples: Royce Gracie in the earliest UFCs, showing that even simple techniques could dominate against untrained opponents. At the gym, it's less common at higher levels, but every fighter remembers their first Americana tap. Cliffhanger, but when legs are involved, things get far more dangerous. Heel hooks can end careers. The heel hook, the most dangerous submission in modern grappling. Mechanics: control the foot. Trap the knee, twist the heel. Pressure rips through ligaments in the knee. Damage happens before you feel pain. Emotion: fear. Pure fear. That's why gyms often restrict heel hooks for beginners. One wrong reaction and an athlete's career is gone. Famous revolution. John Danaher's Death Squad. Gordon Ryan, Gary Tonon, Craig Jones showed that leg locks aren't cheap tricks, but high-level weapons. They turned heel hooks into a mainstream threat in both no-GI grappling and MMA. In UFC, fighters like Ryan Hall and Rousimar Palhares used leg locks to end fights dramatically. But controversy followed, especially Palhares, who held on too long. Engagement question: should heel hooks be legal at white belt competitions? Or should they stay restricted? Comment below. Cliffhanger, but while leg locks terrify in no GI, the GI has its own assassin move, the bow and arrow choke. The bow and arrow choke, the sharpest weapon in GI Jiu Jitsu. Mechanics: grip the opponent's collar. Control their leg. Pull the lapel across the neck. Twist your body like drawing a bow. The choke tightens instantly. Emotion: opponents describe it as having their torso split in two, no breath, no space, total panic. Famous uses. It's a staple in IBJJF World Championships, one of the most successful submissions in high-level GI competition. At the gym, anyone who trains in GI eventually feels the crushing squeeze of the bow and arrow. Cliffhanger, but Jiu-Jitsu isn't about single moves, it's about linking them together. Submissions aren't just fight enders. They're lessons. Every armbar teaches respect for positioning. Every choke teaches patience and timing. Every escape builds resilience. Jiu-Jitsu is endless. And that's why we love it. There's always another trap, another escape, another lesson. Now, I want to hear from you. What's your go-to submission? The one you trust when the roll gets tough? Drop it below. And if you enjoyed this breakdown, your next stop is clear: every Jiu-Jitsu belt explained in 12 minutes. That video shows you the journey behind the moves, from white belt to black belt. This is Glove Goals. Subscribe if you want combat sports explained simple, sharp, and powerful. Thanks for watching. Stay sharp. Keep rolling. Closed guard section. Closed guard. Legs locked tight. Opponents stuck in your lap. Why beginners love it. Simple, it feels safe. You trap them, they can't move. But here's the truth. Closed guard is Jiu-Jitsu's bad relationship. Once they're in, they don't let go. Control comes from three things: posture, hips, grips. Break their posture down. Move your hips out. Keep strong grips. Most white belts? They just squeeze. They hold on for dear life. Then, gas tank empty. Hidden hack time. Don't just squeeze endlessly. Use angles instead. Shift your hips sideways. Create space, then attack. Angles beat strength every time. And let's be real, closed guard makes funny moments. Like when your buddy gets stuck, and you're both sweating like crazy. It looks less like fighting, and more like bad cuddle time. But hey, it works. From arm bars, to triangles, to sweeps. All roads start here. Now I want to know, how many times have you gassed out, just trying to hold closed guard? Be real, how many times has this position drained your gas tank? Type it below. Alright, next position coming up. But remember this. Closed guard is simple. Simple doesn't mean easy. Master it, or get stuck forever. Open guard styles. Closed guard is safe. But what happens when your legs open up? Welcome to open guard. It's freedom. It's chaos. It's control, but with style. Here's the truth. Open guard rules modern Jiu-Jitsu. Because it gives options. Lots of them. Spider guard. De la Riva. Butterfly guard. Each one is a weapon. Spider guard, arms trapped like ropes. De la Riva, leg wrapped like a hook. Butterfly guard, sit up, lift, sweep. These guards look cool. They feel powerful. And when they work, your opponent feels helpless. But here's the secret. Always control at least one limb, arm, or leg. If you let both go, they pass like butter. Pro trick: don't fight for everything. Control one limb, break balance, attack. And yeah, open guard gets funny. Spider guard looks fancy. But really, it's like tying yourself into a human knot. You look cool for Instagram, until you get stacked on your head. Still, open guard is the future. Almost every sweep, every attack, every fancy highlight starts here. Now be honest. Which guard do you hate passing the most? Spider? Butterfly? De la Riva? Tell me in the comments. Closed guard is safety. Open guard is chaos. But what if you're caught between the two? That's where half guard lives, the messy middle ground where survival meets opportunity. Half guard section. Open guard is wild. But what if you can't keep it? What if they almost pass? Welcome to half guard. The in-between world. Not full control. Not fully crushed. Just half. Half guard is tricky. It's defense and offense at the same time. From here, you can sweep. You can trap. You can stall. Or, you can get smashed. Here's the key. The underhook. Whoever wins the underhook usually wins the half guard. Top fighter gets it, they flatten you. Game over. Bottom fighter gets it, they sweep, they climb, they win. Now, the secret hack. Knee shield saves lives. Keep your knee high. Frame with your shin. That one block buys you time, space, survival. Half guard is also a meme. Why? Because it feels like, I messed up. But not completely. You're stuck, but you're still fighting. In the gym, everyone has been there. Sometimes by choice. Sometimes by accident. And sometimes, because you just wanted a break. Half guard is also sneaky. World champs build whole games here. Sweeps to mount, sweeps to back, submissions right after. But for beginners, half guard feels like quicksand. Slow, heavy, painful. Until you learn the tricks. So I want to know, do you play half guard on purpose? Or do you just end up here by accident? Comment below. Alright, half guard is the almost. Next, we go to the throne. The king of all positions. Mount. Mount. Half guard was the almost. Mount is the throne. The king of control. When you land in mount, you're on top of the world. Your opponent? Flat. Stuck. Helpless. Why is mount so strong? Gravity is your weapon. Your weight crushes their chest. Every breath feels heavy. Every move feels blocked. From here, the attack menu opens. Arm bars. Americanas. Mounted triangles. Chokes. Almost endless. This is why white belts fear mount. 1 second they're rolling. Next second, they're a pancake. And here's the hidden hack. Grapevines plus hip pressure. Slide your legs inside. Stretch them out. Drive hips down. Now your opponent feels like a truck is parked on them. Every escape gets harder. Every breath feels tighter. This is mount at its worst. Or best. Depends which side you're on. And let's be honest. Mount is hilarious too. It's basically like sitting on your little brother. Total dominance. Zero chance of escape. If you grew up with siblings, you already know the move. In competition, mount wins fights. In training, it teaches patience. Don't rush. Control first. Finish later. But here's the truth. Mount isn't unbeatable. Good players shrimp, bridge, roll, escape. That's why pressure matters more than size. Still, when you master mount, you feel untouchable. It's the throne, the crown, the kingdom. So tell me, what's worse? Being crushed in mount, or trapped in side control? Comment below. Alright, we've seen the throne. Next up, the smother. Side control, the heavy blanket of Jiu Jitsu. Side control. Mount is the throne. Side control? It's the smother. The heavy blanket of Jiu Jitsu. Chest glued to chest. Hips pinning. Shoulder pressure cutting in. It's not just heavy. It's like someone hit pause on your body. That's the real power of side control. Arms stuck. Hips stuck. Head stuck. It feels like quicksand, but heavier. From side control, transitions open. Mount is one step away. Back control is one spin away. Submissions wait everywhere. Kimuras, Americana, arm triangles. Here's the hidden hack. Head and arm control. Trap both. Lock the head tight. Pin the arm across. When you do this, escape is almost impossible. They'll wiggle. They'll push. But you own them. And let's be real. Side control is a meme. It's a wet blanket. Except this blanket makes you question all your life choices. Why did I even train today? Why do I even roll? Why do I exist? Bonus meme? The shoulder of justice. That guy. The one who drives his shoulder into your face. And whispers. Just relax, bro. Yeah. Everyone hates that guy. But side control isn't just pain. It's strategy. Good players use it as a hub. From here, they float. Mount. Back. Knee on belly. Attack after attack. Beginners hate it. Advanced players love it. Because side control teaches control itself. Not rushing. Not forcing. Just crushing. So, question for you. What's worse, getting stuck under mount, or being smothered in side control? Drop it in the comments. Alright, mount was the throne. Side control was the blanket. Next, north-south. The position nobody wants. Until they realize how deadly it really is. North-south. Side control crushed you flat. But what if we spin lower? Welcome to north-south. It looks innocent. Two people lying opposite. One on top. One on bottom. Like nothing's happening. But don't be fooled. North-south is sneaky. It's underused. It's underrated. And it's dangerous. From here, the top player controls the head. Pin the shoulders. Block the arms. And slowly, the bottom player runs out of air. Submissions? Plenty. North-south choke. Kimura setups. Arm locks. Even transitions back to side. So why do people ignore it? Because it looks boring. It feels weird. And most beginners don't get it. But here's the hidden hack. Rotate your hips. Don't just lay flat. Shift your weight in circles. Your opponent feels stuck. Like cement pressing down. Every angle tighter. Every escape harder. And yeah, north-south has meme energy. It looks harmless. Until you realize, you're basically being smothered by someone's belly button. It's not glamorous. It's not Instagram highlight material. But it works. In the gym, people laugh about it. But once you feel the choke sink in, it's not funny anymore. It's panic. It's pressure. It's tap time. The best part? Nobody expects it. Everyone trains for mount, for guard, for side control. Then suddenly, they're stuck under north-south. That's why smart players use it. It's the hidden gem of control. Quiet. Simple, but deadly. So, question for you. Have you ever tapped to a north-south choke? Or do you think it's overrated? Tell me in the comments. Alright, north-south is sneaky. But next comes the crown jewel. The position everyone fears most. Back control, the ultimate checkmate. Back control. North-south is sneaky. But back control? This is checkmate. Once you're on the back, game over. Your opponent is trapped. They can't see you. They can't hit you. They can only panic. Why is the back so powerful? Because it's total control. You've got the hooks in. Or even worse, the body triangle. Legs locked. Hips crushing. Every breath harder. Your arms? Seatbelt grip. One arm over. One arm under. Chest tight to their back. They try to wriggle. But there's nowhere to go. And then comes the finish. The rear naked choke. The king of submissions. Arm slides under the chin. Grab your bicep. Hand behind the head. Squeeze. Sleep time. But here's the hidden hack. Trap the wrist first. Pin one arm with your leg. Or lock it with your hand. Now they can't defend. No hands. No hope. No escape. And of course, Back control has Nin vibes too. It's like Netflix. Once you've got it, they're locked in for months. No escape. No refund. Only suffering. In training, everyone fears this, because once the back is taken, you know the end is near. Even the best fighters admit, it feels like drowning on dry land. The back is the great equalizer. Small fighter, big fighter, doesn't matter. If they take your back, it's checkmate. So tell me, what's scarier? A tight rear naked choke, or shoulder pressure from side control? Drop your answer in the comments. Alright, the back is the crown. But what if you curl up instead? What if you shell up like a rock? Next position, the turtle. Turtle. The back is the crown. But what if you don't give it up? What if you curl tight and hide? That's the turtle. Defensive. Stubborn. A shell position. At first glance, it looks safe. Head down, arms tucked, knees under. Like a rock no one can crack. But here's the truth. Turtle is not safe forever. It's defensive, but it's also exploitable. From the top, opponents attack fast. They roll you over. They hook your legs. They spin for the back. Or they just crush you flat. Still, turtle has a place. Smart grapplers use it as a wall. They stall. They breathe. They plan their escape. Here's the hidden hack. Don't freeze. Never stay turtle too long. Instead, roll. Move. Create scrambles. A rolling turtle can surprise anyone. A frozen turtle? That's lunch. And let's be real. Turtle is meme material. It's basically pretending you're a rock. Meanwhile, your opponent is the kid trying to pry it open. Push. Pull. Smash. Until, crack. In the gym, everyone has done it. Sometimes on purpose. Sometimes by accident. And sometimes, because you're just tired. Be honest. You've turtled just to stall. Catch your breath, and pray the round ends. High-level grapplers? They turn turtle into traps. Rolling sweeps. Leg attacks. Surprise back takes. It's sneaky. It's clever. It works. So I'll ask you. Confession time, have you ever gone turtle just to survive the round? Don't lie. I know some of you have. Let's hear it in the comments. Alright, turtle is the shell. But Jiu Jitsu isn't just about one spot. It's about the chain. The ladder. The hierarchy. Next, position recap. Positions are the skeleton of Jiu Jitsu, the map that makes everything work. From guard to mount, from side to back. Every sweep and every submission starts with position. Master the ladder, climb step by step, and your game transforms. Skip it, and nothing sticks. And this is just part 1. Because if positions are the skeleton, guards are the playground. Spider. Butterfly. De la Riva. That's next. Every Jiu Jitsu guard style explained in 15 minutes. Don't miss it.